What is up, everybody? Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we actually get to meet and learn some of our locally owned Glen Ed businesses and the characters behind them. We get to learn a little bit more about our CrossFit, CFE CrossFitters here in the community, and we get to meet and learn from our CFE coaches. Usually I say that in reverse, but today we're specifically
changed it up on us, man.
I changed it up on you just to see if it threw you off, man. I'm your co-host, everybody, Dallas Amston. I am the founder of Men of Faith and Fire, and we help Christian men get back on point and on fire in their faith with their families and with their business. And then today I get the opportunity, like I said, we get to meet and learn from one of our CFE coaches. I would dare say the CFE coach. Boom.
That's too high a billing.
How about this? How about I just say that he is the GM and he's part of the coaching team here at CrossFit Edwardsville. You guys know him as Coach G or G Skell. He is Greg Skelly. G, what's up, man?
Man, I got my workout complete, showered and dressed, got my coffee here, my water. I feel freaking fantastic. I get to hang out with you and talk shop a little bit. I'm having a great time. A great time.
That's awesome. Well, today we do get to have a fun little conversation. We are in part 3 of our What to Expect When You Are Expecting. Wait, no, that's a different title.
That's our other podcast.
That's the other podcast, and probably there should be women involved in that conversation. What to expect when you're expecting. No, this is a
lot more about that than we do. That's for sure.
That's right, and maybe that should be our next Mother's Day theme. What to expect if you're a brand new CrossFitter. We really want to demystify kind of the steps of what it's like to start out here at CrossFit Edwardsville. Officially, there are 3 steps, and we've covered 2 of the 3 already, but step number 1 is what we call the no sweat conversation. Step number 2 is what we call the first class experience. And then step number 3 is really about your first 30 days at CrossFit Edwardsville. In the last 2 episodes, we've talked about the no sweat conversation and the first class experience. Today, we get the opportunity to talk about your first 30 days at CrossFit Edwardsville. So, yes. G Skell.
And I'm really passionate about talking about this because I still feel like there's this persistent perception out there, a lot of misunderstandings about what it actually looks like to get started at a CrossFit gym. And if you've never been a part of a CrossFit gym, there's a good chance that you have heard or you have the feeling, the impression, some way, somehow, that what's going to happen when you join a CrossFit gym is we're going to throw you into a group class where everybody is doing all of these crazy exercises you've never done before. We're going to ask you to lift ridiculous amounts of weights that you're probably not appropriate to lift yet. Ask you to do all kinds of haphazard or foolhardy or silly or stupid things. And then just hope and pray that you make it out of this with in one piece. And nothing could be further from the truth. That the actual CrossFit onboarding process, the actual CrossFit journey, the CrossFitter journey here, is so much more thoughtful and structured and progressive and intelligent than that. It's so much more custom and tailored than that. And I'm excited that we can finally demystify, break all the myths, reset the proper expectations for all the people that are out there. You're thinking about CrossFit. Maybe you've seen some people on the interwebs doing some cool things. It looks exciting to you. You want to be a part of this. But you want to know that this is going to be a smart, safe move that's going to allow you to continue to be a working professional, still report to your job and function as a person, still keep kicking butt as a husband, as a wife, as a parent, as a person, right? You want to know that this is going to augment your life and magnify all the good things, that this is not going to be some terrifying journey of hold on, like white knuckle ride as you pray, hope and pray that things don't go wrong. Right? And we can kind of like set the proper expectations and actually outline what does this journey look like for somebody who's new to this. And if you haven't already, definitely check out the step 1 with the podcast. We talked about step 1, the no sweat conversation. That second podcast where we talked about the first class experience, and then the third podcast, this one. Once you've watched those 2, join us for this one and talk about your first 30 days at CrossFit Edwardsville.
For sure. And if you're new to CrossFit Edwardsville, new to CrossFit, just wanting to learn a little bit about what we do, who we are, you can learn a lot by doing your own research. You don't have to wait for the Encyclopedia Britannica anymore to come to your door and look up CrossFit and hope that there's a subsection on Edwardsville.
I haven't even heard those words in a while. Encyclopedia Britannica.
I know. Well, so we had up to T when I was a kid, and then my dad canceled the subscription. So I know nothing about anything U through Z.
And what's so crazy is like the world now, like there's no reason really for a person to own an encyclopedia.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no good reason for it anymore.
That's right. And you don't even really have to talk too much anymore about the Dewey Decimal System. A lot of kids don't even know what it is. Poor Mr.
Or the card catalog. What do they call that?
That's the Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah.
Like the card catalog.
You have to find the proper like numerical system to go and find the book on the shelf. But anyway, we digress.
We have digressed huge. I will say though, I still take my kids to the library often, so that they can experience getting free books and reading a lot.
Dude, I love books. I love stuff like that. I love it so much.
But the whole reason we brought up the encyclopedia and the Dewey Decimal System is you have the power in your hands, ladies and gentlemen, to read all about us. You can learn a lot just by doing some of your own research online. Hit that old Google machine. We've got hundreds, if not thousands of reviews, of Google reviews. You can find us on Facebook. You can read our Facebook reviews. I'm going to put that up for those of you who are watching. You can look on Instagram and on Facebook at CrossFit Edwardsville. Obviously, you can see a little bit more about us, CrossFitEdwardsville.com, and learn a little bit about that as well as those first couple of steps, the first class experience, the no sweat conversation, and the first class experience, et cetera, et cetera. We could keep it going, but I want to get us started here on this conversation. Skell, talk to us. All right, talk to us. So we've had the no sweat conversation. We've gone in for our first class experience, and we've said, yes, I want to try out this community for 30 days, see what it's like. What does that first 30 days look like at CrossFit Edwardsville?
Absolutely, and I'll give the broad strokes of it here, but I want you to know that the specifics of how it looks for Dallas Amsden, for Jane Smith, for person X is going to be different because it is tailored.
I appreciate that in that list I was the only real person there. We don't have a Jane Smith at CrossFit Edwardsville or a person X, but if that person ever walks through, I definitely want to shake that man's hand.
So then
it's tailored. It's tailored.
Yeah, imagine there actually was a person named Person X, right?
That'd be awesome.
So, or like if there actually was a person named Anonymous, there are so many quotes attributed to Anonymous.
You'd be the most famous person in the world.
Now, in the first class experience, your coach gives you the prescription for what does your first 30 days look like. Because at that point, they really know your story. They really know what's important to you. They really know your strengths. They really know your weaknesses. They know what it looks like to coach you. There's a relationship there, and they give you a meaningful personal prescription like, all right, here is what your onboarding looks like for you. The prescriptive model. We give you an actual fitness prescription. What does Dallas need in this first 30 days? And so that prescription comes from your coach uniquely and specifically. But in general, broad strokes, we can say this. If you're new to CrossFit, you need some kind of onboarding into CrossFit. And generally speaking, if your aspiration is to beeline, to be ready for group classes, you're like, I love this CrossFit thing. I want to be a part of the community. I like to be ready to be a part of group CrossFit classes as fast as possible. 6 sessions of onboarding is a very, very typical start point. We feel pretty confident for most people. We can have them get through a basic catalog of exercises, get them oriented to those exercises, establish baselines on a lot of different things so that after session 6, then you can graduate and to be a part of one of the group programs.
Sure.
But before I get into that, I'm going to back it up a little bit because we're talking about the first 30 days, right?
Yeah.
So first class experience, the coach gives you the prescription. Then during onboarding, there's you have come to us because there are certain things you want to achieve. There are certain goals that you have, right?
Yeah.
What the coaches have, they have this toolkit of exercises. They have a lot, they're essentially ingredients. They're all ingredients. They have a full cupboard full of ingredients, a full pantry, full fridge full of ingredients.
Yeah.
What the coaches then do in your onboarding is they take those ingredients and they make a dish for you in each session that gets you closer to, first, the goals that brought you to us, which may include being ready for group CrossFit classes.
Yeah.
So in session 1 of your onboarding, you do this much of fitness and you learn a few new exercises, or you refine your understanding of those exercises. You probably set some baselines on some things. We establish what is your strength with this exercise.
Yep.
How much endurance do you have with this exercise? We establish those things. In session 2, you come in. You learn a new catalog of exercises that are then prepared into a dish for you based on what you want to get. And if getting ready for group CrossFit classes is part of it, it's also framed in that way. And then you do this much on day 2. Day 3, you come in, you learn a new series, a new catalog of exercises, and it's prepared for you in a way that gets you closer to your goals. And if you want it to, it gets you closer to being ready for group CrossFit classes. And so there's this progression. In session 1, this much, session 2, this much, session 3, this much, session 4. And in this way, we're progressively increasing your strength, increasing your stamina, increasing your familiarity with CrossFit, teaching you the lexicon, the verbiage. What do these terms on the Jumbotron mean? What do these terms on the whiteboard mean? When we're CrossFitters,
can we talk about the terms for a second?
Yeah.
So when I first started doing CrossFit, at CrossFit Edwardsville, and I'd come home and I'd say to my wife, "Oh, in the Metcon today, it was an AMRAP above," and I'd start throwing all of these acronyms at her and throwing all these terms. And I saw her one night. We're sitting in bed, getting ready to fall asleep. I said, "What do you look?" I just finished telling her about a class, and she goes, I said, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "I'm looking up what all the acronyms mean. I need to know what your lingo is." Because I was like, "Hey, it's an AMRAP, it's a this, it's a that, it's an EMOM," and she was like, "Yeah, I need to know all of that."
Yeah, it's crazy. Like once you're in the thick of it, like it's almost like the CrossFitters are speaking their own language, because we have all of these. We all have all these tribe terms like EMOM and AMRAP and partition as needed, and do it Murph style, do it DT style.
Right.
20. I'm gonna do this as 15 rounds of Cindy plus blankety blank. Like there's all these terminology, and like if you're new to all of this, like that's just like. It's flying over your head, like what is going on, right? In your onboarding, you learn the lexicon. You learn, and
it really helps solidify the community element too within CrossFit.
Yeah, because then you can, at least at an entry level, you can speak that CrossFitter language, and all of a sudden you start to see and understand more, and it doesn't seem so intimidating. It doesn't seem so outsider-ish.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. So they kind of go through that first 6. It sounds like keep us talking.
Which it may be 6, it may be more. Like we have plenty of people that come in and they're like, you know what? I want to take a longer, I want to have a more gradual onboarding for this. I don't want to rush it.
Yeah.
12 sessions might be right. We have people that do 20 sessions of onboarding. Again, your coach will have a recommendation and a prescription for you based on what they see.
Yeah.
But we're also matching that with what is your speed? How fast do you want to go? How fast do you want to learn? What's exciting for you? Is it exciting for you to gas pedal this and push it faster? Or do you prefer the slow burn, no pressure, one day at a time, build up to it, right?
Yeah.
So you'll do some amount of onboarding. And when your onboarding is done, your coach, whoever you're working with at that time, will then have a conversation with you, maybe in person, maybe with the phone. Here's the progress we've made so far. We're this much closer to your goals. Where do you want to go from here? What's that next step? And there is no wrong answer to this.
Right.
There are 3 different tracks that are possible that most people take. First, they graduate into group CrossFit. So maybe they've done 3 onboarding sessions a week for 2 weeks. They graduate into group CrossFit, and then they start attending group CrossFit classes, meeting the people in that class, getting integrated into that class culture and community, and they start doing the group CrossFit thing on an ongoing basis and being a part of the exciting experience that is doing CrossFit with other people.
Yeah.
Which definitely, doing this with other people, doing CrossFit with the community is one of the things that definitely augments the whole experience.
100%.
That if you want to fully experience CrossFit, you need to graduate into doing it with people, because there is an energy that goes with that. But I digress. I think you have something you wanted to mention there as well, Dallas.
Well, no, I was just going to say, even for the introvert person, it's, because technically I'm an introvert. People don't believe that when I tell them that, but
it makes two of us.
Yeah, you and I both are. But even for the introverted person, there's something about going through the thing together with other people that it allows you to continue to be guided by the coaches through the process. It allows that group energy in the room that's happening. And then also you find the class that kind of fits your personality. So we have different groups that have formed, and you go, oh, I want to be in the 5 a.m. because of these 3 people, or hey, I think the 9:30 is better for me, or hey, the 6:30 p.m. or whatever it might be for you. You find the kind of like mini tribe within the larger community tribe, and it's a really fun thing to explore those people, and you get to know them, and you guys become each other's cheerleaders, and you guys become each other's accountability partners. And I have gotten text messages from people in the gym being like, where were you today? and it's a good thing. I mean, that's a really good thing to have a little bit of that community element.
And sometimes you find an allegiance or a loyalty to a certain coach, because there are different coaches in different classes, and sometimes you will really resonate with one of the coaches, and so maybe you'll bias to their classes, right? So once like the first 6 sessions of onboarding is complete, if you've set it up, if like your aspiration was to be ready for a group, at that point you can graduate into group if you and your coach both feel that's the step you want to take. So that's the first possible track that you can do. A second possible track is say, you know what, I really liked doing this private coaching with the coaches. I really enjoyed it. I found that it matched what it took for me to get an exciting workout on my terms. I love all the personal attention. I love how tailored this is for me. I love being spoiled by my coach, in this 60 or 75-minute session or whatever it is. I love like having somebody working for me uniquely and specifically. You might just stay with private coaching. Many people do, right? So you've got track 1, graduate to group. Track 2, keep it private coaching. Track 3 is like a hybrid of the 2. So that would look like, I want to be a part of the group thing, but I still want to have some of the training wheels on, where I have some of that one-to-one, some of that private coaching to help ease me into that. What that looks like for a lot of people is every week they'll do a 30-minute or a 60-minute session, one-to-one with a coach, private coaching session. And then 2, 3, 4 times the rest of the week, they do the group CrossFit thing. That's the third track that we see quite often, right? So to back it up and kind of, I guess, 30,000 square foot view, again, right off the bat, I want to make it very clear that what this looks like, the specifics are very unique to Dallas Amsden, Jane
Smith, or Mr. X.
Person X, yes. But globally speaking, right, after your first class experience, coach gives you a prescription, you guys come to like an agreement, you collaborate, what does your onboarding look like? If you're onboarding over 6 sessions, that's probably 2 weeks' time, at which point, after that 6 classes, you talk with your coach, where do we go from here? And you decide track 1, track 2, track 3, where do I go from here? And then the next 2 weeks are then redesigned based on what your comfort level dictates, your preparation dictates, what your style, your personality, what your desire to go fast or go slow dictates from there. And so every 30 days, 60 days, 90 days subsequently, your coaches are touching base with you to identify how's progress toward these goals.
Yeah.
What adjustments do we need to make to the journey along the way?
That's good.
Generally speaking, that is your first 30 days at CrossFit Edwardsville.
And it's good stuff. And so if you're ready to kind of take these first couple of steps, we've talked about all three of them again. Number one, that no sweat conversation. Number two, the idea of that first class experience. And then really number three, the idea of that first 30 days. But if you're ready to kind of take those first steps, G, what should they do first?
If you're ready, go to CrossFitEdwardsville.com on your laptop computer, on your cell phone browser. If you go to that website, first thing you'll see is a big link, Are You New? Just click that link, Are You New? And it'll take you right to step one where you can book that no sweat conversation. That will dovetail, that'll transition neatly into your first class experience, which transitions neatly into your onboarding, your first 30 days at CrossFit Edwardsville.
Yep, and we brought this up in the last episode as well, but if you're new to CrossFit, you can see here on the website, for those of you watching, you got step one and step two of the action and the learning. But if you're an experienced CrossFitter too, maybe you're familiar with the world of CrossFit already, and you want to have that conversation. But again, that's all available for you at CrossFitEdwardsville.com. You can also feel free to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at CrossFit Edwardsville as well. And I think that's all we got for you. This has been a fun little series of 3 steps to the onboarding of CrossFit Edwardsville. I hope that we do get to see more people in the gym more and more, because I love watching the community grow. It's a great place. Like you said, G, you kind of learn the coaches you want to be with a little more frequently, or you get loyalty to that coach. The good thing about that, though, is all of the coaches know all of the athletes.
Right.
And so it's crazy, because I've actually gone to try something before, and one of the coaches goes, hey, remember, you might need to scale this movement, because they know a physical limitation I have. So they're able to say, hey, you might want to scale to this, or hey, are you feeling like you want to try RX today? Yeah, I am. Okay, great. Don't forget to do this. So everybody kind of knows where they're at. So through the whole process, the coaching staff wants to help carry you through your fitness journey from step by step. So always a good thing. So G, thank you for this series of 3, man. Appreciate the time. And you all know what I'm going to say, but I kind of feel like I want G to say it one more time like he did in the last episode. G, how do I always like to end these things?
You know, I got the answer to this. I do want to say thank you to you, Dallas, too. Take some time out on your busy schedule to hang out with us and help us, produce these podcasts. We've said it before. I'll say it again. Like, what I know about podcasts, I learned from this dude. I do want to encourage you guys, if you are one of those high performers that you need help getting taking control of your day, taking control of your schedule. If you're a Christian dad battling burnout, Dallas is your man. Check out his podcast, Men of Faith and Fire.
Thanks, brother.
And either way, we want you guys to remember right here, right now, have yourselves championship day.
Boom.